Well, folks, we have another teachable moment. Yesterday's attacks at the Kabul airport, which it amazes me that nobody saw this coming. I mean, anybody with 2 cents worth of brains, I saw this from a mile away, but anybody with 2 cents worth of brains knew that something like this was bound to happen. And you gotta love the media response to this, because they're acting all shocked, bawling their eyes out. Oh, what a tragedy. Oh, the humanity. We've got to save these Americans and Afghanis from the clutches of the Taliban, which we created, by the way. We should have never been in Afghanistan to begin with. Talked about this in my last video. Why are we still over there? So why is anybody shocked that we had these attacks at Kabul Airport yesterday? Now I'm going to share with you in this video what the AP is saying, the New York Times, some of the information that's out there. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, because I talked about this in my last video. But it's time for us to get our nose out of these conflicts that are happening in the Middle East, because every time we do, we get involved with them. Then we get into skirmishes with ISIS or the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. Then we have some type of truce and we say, okay, we agree not to bother you if you agree not to bother us. We'll allow you to have your little jihad in that part of the world. Just don't come over here and be a nuisance to us. When what we should do is what we should have done as soon as 9/11 happened. Is gotten on the phone, given these people a 48 to 72 hour notice, and said, here's the deal, bud. Either you cut the crap, or in the next 48 to 72 hours, we're coming up to your country, we're going to flatten it back to the Stone Age, and we're going to turn it into a shopping mall. Then we'll cut off the immigration, we're going to cut off financial aid, any trade to your country. We're cutting you off from the civilized world because you have proven you do not want to be a part of the civilized world. That is how we should have handled this on 9/11. I can guarantee you if we would have done that, we wouldn't have had what we had happen at Kabul Airport yesterday. Because we would have no need to be in Afghanistan. Can you tell I'm in a good mood? This is the Culture Confederacy. Welcome back to the channel. It's Friday. And if you like the video, please click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at hashtag Jason Composes, leave comments below. And now you can reach me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy at Twitter. And you know, folks, the phrase that came to mind when trying to create a graphic for this video was breaking point. I just kept thinking of this breaking point. This is a breaking point for us. We can no longer be involved in these conflicts in the Middle East. And there's one thing that I cannot stand above anything else. It's these career politicians or the military top brass that's been in their position for way too long. They're just there for the pension. They need to be doing what's in the best interest of the American people. But they don't want to do that because they don't want to ruffle any feathers, and we don't want to offend anybody in the Middle East. Well, I think it's time we offend people in the Middle East. I think it's time that we tell people, hey, this is the United States, and this is the way it's going to be. Now, I'm not into imperialism, but I do believe in flexing our muscle when we need to flex our muscle, when we have to protect ourselves. We have every constitutional right to protect our shores. Let's do it. Instead of sitting on our fat asses, drinking coffee, eating donuts, arguing with each other in Congress, or in these board meetings or what have you, with the military top brass, do your damn job. So according to the AP, Kabul Airport, these attacks yesterday, they estimate between 60 to 93 Afghans were killed, 13 U.S. troops. And these attacks were carried out by 2 suicide bombers and gunmen, surprise, surprise, claiming to be part of ISIS-K, which is an offshoot of the Islamic State. And as you know, the Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. But ISIS and the Taliban don't get along. They're in conflict with each other. Mentioned this in my last video. They're cut from the same cloth, different philosophies. They just can't stand each other. Now, this incident occurred hours after officials warned of a major attack. The warning was ignored by Afghans desperate to escape the country, so they just stayed at the airport. And you do have these reports coming in now of the Taliban attacking people or killing people in these provinces outside of Kabul. This is a disaster, folks. It's a complete disaster. The Biden administration botched this big time. Why are Americans trapped in Afghanistan? That shouldn't be happening. Your focus should be to get these citizens out first, the Americans out first, or these Afghanis who are being attacked by the Taliban first. And then you pull the troops out. And during Biden's recent presser, he said that the latest bloodshed would not drive the U.S. out of Afghanistan earlier than scheduled. He's also given the U.S. military instructions to develop plans to strike ISIS. Well, that should have happened within minutes of these attacks yesterday at Kabul Airport. Not today. It should have happened yesterday. Like I said, within minutes of those attacks. But somehow, our military top brass and people in the White House can't get this. Biden went on to say this during his presser: "We will not forgive, we will not forget, we will not hunt you down and make you pay." Typical political speak. You go, Joe Biden, you tell them. You tell them. So you had 11 11 Marines and 1 Navy medic among the dead. Another service member died hours later. 18 service members were wounded. 140 civilians, Afghans, were also wounded. And thousands of Americans are still stuck in Afghanistan. This according to the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan. Now, this was as of August 22nd, according to Business Insider. You had 30,000 that had been evacuated, although that number is not concrete because these American citizens that were in Kabul or what have you, they were encouraged to go ahead and register with the embassy there in Kabul, but they weren't required to, so you could still have some Americans that are missing. But like I said, just a disaster all the way around. This is just... How could you let this happen? How could you let this happen? We do not look good here. We do not look good. And according to the New York Times, you have, as of today, 1,500 Americans still in Afghanistan, dozens of California students and parents who are trapped. The Taliban, one of its leaders, claims that it wants to forget the past, but it's going to implement new restrictions, new policies, Sharia law. And after these blasts, experts see that there could possibly be more, they call it fertile ground, for attacks in the future. It is time, once again, to get out of the Middle East. When are we going to learn? You got to stop getting involved in these skirmishes with the Taliban, with ISIS. Now, if they attack us, yes, you go after them. But you can do it without having to put boots on the ground, and you do it without having boots on the ground for 20 years. It just amazes me that these people don't see it. You know what I think? I think a lot of them are more interested, as I said, in not just their pension or being a career politician, but in getting these government contracts, making all this money, millions of dollars, at our expense, mind you, taxpayers' expense. But it's time to get out of the Middle East and tell these people either you get your act together or we don't do business with you. It's that simple. This isn't hard to figure out, folks. It's not hard to figure out. So once again, if you enjoyed the video, please click that like button, subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes. Leave comments below. And now you can reach me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this great country. And I'll catch you next time. Have a great weekend.